smile on because yesterday, Kimberlie Carlson joining me here today. This is All in Healing. We did that yesterday, and it was so fun because I have to tell you, we got through that really quickly, really energized, and the music for it. It was really sweet the way things come together. And that's what today's show's about, too. It's about talking about, what happens when we learn about the things we need to know. And what is it that's underneath here? Something like a hidden truth, so to speak, that intuitively you know. And I think that, when I listen to that intro, it's really kind of smiley. It makes me smile because when people step into their passion and purpose, like you're going to hear from Kimberlie today, when you do that, when you begin that journey into total healing, and I mean total, I mean looking at the energetic patterns, when we do that, things can shift. But just so you know, you're going to hear a story today about who Kimberlie Carlson is. Kimberlie Carlson is somebody that doesn't really come out and talk about all in healing because she read it in a book, which she did, but she has experienced this. And, this is what this is about. Today, just to top it off, you heard the show with Sarah Main. And Sarah went on a journey for 18 months. And we want to congratulate her on her book launch today, because that's what happens when you look at your life and you say to yourself, I have got to make some changes. Today, you're going to hear this story from somebody that works with people all over the world, different methodologies, energy healing, theta healing, you name it. Somebody that does this not because she read it in a book, but she has studied it, but because she has lived it. Kimberlie, it's great to have you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Great launch for today, right?
Yeah,
Um, I got to ask you, I saw you smiling a little bit when you were listening to the intro too, right?
you caught me.
Yeah. There's something to be said when we get all in, right?
Absolutely.
And I think when you say yes to do a show like this show, which is All in Healing Radio, and this is your show, when you say yes to it, there's no half in about it, right? And and I want to ask you about this.
Okay.
Here you are showing up. What are the challenges? What are the obstacles that you had to overcome to bring you to this very moment?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you guys here at Transformation Radio know a little bit about what some of those have been. I've definitely had to, when you guys invited me to be part of this, what you guys are, the magic that you guys are creating here. My whole body said, yes, this sounds, just yes, really. And so so here I am. But however, I think I said yes maybe last June. And it's now January 2020. So I definitely had some resistance that I needed to kind of work through to be able to actually really show up for this.
Yeah. And I think the energy shifts too, because, when we sat with you yesterday, both Jessica and I, and we worked with you on the show opener, and then folks will hear the close. And then, Jessica, I think, mixed it, popped it over to Benny. And when I think about all those piece parts coming together so easily, right?
Yeah.
In the world we live in, we don't take that for granted. There are a lot of moving parts, but aren't there a lot of moving parts in the world you live in all in healing? And isn't this really stemming from what I think is at epidemic proportions, and that's allergies?
Mm. You're striking at my passion here for sure.
But don't you think? I mean, how, go back, I don't know how long you want to go back, not too long. But now I can't go anywhere without somebody saying, yeah, I think that's just allergies. Or wait a
Yeah.
minute, does that food have wheat in it? Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? This
Oh,
is like,
yes.
this didn't exist a decade ago like this,
Right. I mean, this is a
right?
coffee house conversation. It's a
Yeah.
living room conversation. It's happening. This is a conversation that's happening constantly now. You hear those words, allergies, and you hear inflammation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So really, once I discovered that allergies really truly were at the root of what is creating those inflammatory patterns in the body, it changed everything in my world as a healer. So, um, and those allergies, just what those allergies and that inflammation really are some of those complexities that you were just talking about. All together, and what those complexities create is what we will call here resistance, or a disharmony
Yeah.
with different energies, right? And
Yeah.
that's really at the heart of what an allergy is, and it's made up of a lot of complex, dense sort of energies that we hold and carry in our physical and energetic bodies.
Yeah. I have a real technical term that I would like to share with you about it.
Okay.
Benny, Benny, wait for it. It's called the crust. The crust, the
Oh,
stuff that we gather up that allows us to provide this cocoon around us to protect ourselves from
right,
life. And
right.
and you said it, resistance. I mean, how
Mhm.
many people like to hear the word? Well, like I think Kimberlie right now. I think like you got a little resistance going, right? Who wants to hear that?
Yeah. Well, I had resistance, that took several months to work through to show up on this show today. And let me tell you what, that definitely showed up in my body, as all energies that we're holding do, right? They manifest in the physical body. So, and I am not exempt from this. And so they show up in my body. However, I'm happy to report that for the most part, I've learned through many years of doing my own work and doing my own self healing, that I can actually listen to subtle things that my body is
Yeah.
speaking, and not have to have my body get so incredibly loud with crazy symptoms that, for the most part, once in a while, there's still a big lesson that's being thrown my direction. My body will always tell me when I'm out of alignment, with something in my life. So,
Yeah. And let's talk about that for a minute in terms of what we mean by the body telling us. I said to you that I just got back from my doctor
mm,
because well, first of all, Benny will attest to this. I've I've really I've wreaked a lot of havoc on my knees over time because I've been
right,
active in sports. I mean, you name it, I've torn it. Um, but in the end, right, that isn't what causes what the reaction was here 2 days ago. Because think about it, yeah, maybe I had an injury a year ago, but why would that injury get activated to have my knee turn out to be the size of a large grapefruit? I mean, what
right.
is that? But let's talk about that from your perspective because you
Awesome.
discovered something, didn't you? I mean, you could sit here with an injury and it not do this, but somehow, maybe you put something in your body that your body says, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. So knees, that can be a lot of different things, and it's going to vary from, unique individual to unique individual, of course. Um, but generally speaking, sort of the hips down to those big toes, right, tends to have to do with something with moving forward motion, moving into the future. And when we are on that quest to become, our highest potential, we're certainly going to meet resistance along that path. So that can be a part of what's playing into that knee issue that's showing up. No better time for this kind of stuff to be showing up than as we move into the higher energies that 2020 is bringing and releasing all that has to go, right, as we've come through the end of 2019. There's a lot showing up for a lot of people right now, because we're all in this, right? We're all in this together. We're all having these types of experiences. So,
Yeah.
but what's interesting to me was just hearing you briefly talk about your knee. I intuitively know that there's an allergy or a resistance with the injection, with what the treatment.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I keep
Yep.
telling them.
Oh yeah. So we can clear that. We can clear that in 30
Let-
seconds.
Let's
So
go ahead and do that before we go to break. Because,
yes.
how many people are like me, right? But this
Yeah.
is the work you do, and you learn this in your own healing journey, which we're going to
Yeah.
talk about when we come back. But it's like
Absolutely.
when you walk into a doctor and you say, I know there's something going
Yeah.
on here that's not like the normal thing you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And you keep getting the same treatment and you keep having the same issue,
Right.
but the light bulb doesn't go on.
Well, here's the thing. Our
Yeah.
allergies are very complex. So your knee, it's not just an allergy to the treatment. It's just not. There's more to it than that. We are allergic to parts of our own bodies. So when I clear allergies, I am looking at the whole, everything, all the energetics at play that are going on. And again, that varies from individual to individual. So it's not like I can just put a healing on my website for all people with knee trouble, right?
No, you can't. You
No,
can't.
I mean, I can be really thorough and I could probably get maybe 70% of those people, but the rest are going to need a session, because what I do in my sessions with people is I tune into your pain point, your symptom, your disease, your, whatever's going on in your body that you are ready to be done with, right? And I just ask to be shown what all is creating that inflammation, that pattern. And there'll
Mm,
be multiple allergens, quote unquote, again, keeping in mind that the brain really thinks of an allergy or computes an allergy to be anything that's causing inflammation in the body, period. So, and those are made up of different energies that we have resistance around. So, for you, I know that I would also need to include healing allergies to your knee itself, the kneecap, the fluids that are in the knee,
yes.
the joint, the tissue, all the tissues that make up, all that's going on, physically, those physical parts of your knee. Think autoimmune disease. We are rejecting our own body, right? Our body thinks our own body is a threat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we start attacking, or the body starts attacking itself.
Mm.
We're allergic to ourselves. We're allergic to different parts of our body, and it can go down all the way to a cell. Even we can be allergic to our own DNA, RNA,
Wow.
specific cellular tissues, metabolic enzymes, proteins, vitamins, minerals, fats, salts, all the things that our body needs and uses to create a healthy immune system, to create a healthy endocrine system, skeletal system, all the different systems of our body, nervous system. So
I had no idea I was going to get this little bonus today.
I know.
I had no idea.
know.
But this is what I tried to tell you a while ago. And it's really the funnest part of what we do here. I have been told by so many people that I literally don't know how to do radio the way radio is done. And then they said, thank God. And,
Right.
the reason is that we are here to be real. So the people that are listening can pick up the phone and call you and say, I need that help too. Because see,
Yeah.
this is what you signed up for. This is all in. You got that? This is all in. But I didn't know that I would actually even share this about my need today. Obviously, the pain threshold is it's a bit much. But the other thing is, there's something about your work and your energy that I know I feel comfortable with and other people feel comfortable with. But
Mm.
isn't that part, Kimberlie, isn't that part of what you personally went through in order for you to decide, I'm going to do this thing.
Yes. Yes. I might have got lost in that question. So,
But this is it. I mean, you jumped right into helping me because this is this is in your wheelhouse. This
it
is
is.
like you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what
Yeah.
she's asking me or what the question is, but I'm tapping into something going on with her.
Yeah.
And because I'm a little intuitive, I knew you were doing that. But isn't this what the mainstream world needs to know? And by the way, throwing more meds at a situation, I'm not anti-med. I want to be really clear with people out there. There are situations where we can look at certain medication and boy, do you need them. But when we throw a one size fits all concoction onto somebody that is unique, that's exactly what you're talking about. Isn't really that aligned with your definition of an allergy?
Yeah, absolutely. Our that resistance that creates that literally creates, I mean, like resistance is, or I should say inflammation really is the manifestation of the physical form of resistance. That's really just what that is. And that resistance is made up from our traumas that we're holding, from this lifetime and other lifetimes. Okay, not just what's happening here. Some of this we've brought in to work to continue working through. In this lifetime, some of the stuff some of the trauma that can be creating symptoms in our body isn't even ours. Some
Wow.
of us have, contracted on a soul level to come in and do work for the collective, and a lot of those type of people are carrying trauma for the planet, for the human race. Empaths and intuitives, light workers, those that are here anchoring that light, tend to have contracts that to hold the trauma for their mother or their female ancestral line, their father's ancestral line. So in order to resolve all of what's creating that inflammatory pattern in a unique individual, we have to be able to have a method or a methodology that allows us to bring in all of those parts, all of those aspects. The trauma from this lifetime, again, trauma
Mm.
is one of the biggest things that really creates pain in the body.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So, and again, it has to be able to resolve and dissolve that trauma from our systems and from all of those different places that it can be, we can be grabbing onto it from. And, um, and then it also has to have we can be storing things in any part of our body, cellularly, in the DNA, right? And
Yeah.
in the chakra bodies, our subtle bodies, our energetic and magnetic fields,
Yeah.
right? So in order for something to really be effective, to dissolve those patterns, we have to be able to come at it with something that addresses all of those things all at one time.
Mm.
And that's the magic. That's why this works the way it does.
Isn't that all in healing?
All in healing.
I know. I went ahead and skipped the break because I wanted to really continue with this because I love how the right thing shows up. And by the way, for those of you out there, if you want to connect with Kimberlie, let's make sure we have the phone lines open and also our instant messaging. You can give us a shout. Benny will pick up, of course, 1-800-930-2819. And please feel free to find out, ask Kimberlie a question. But, the thing I want to say about this is what you do. So I did not have to tell you that I went to the doctor and I'm sitting here with 3 ice packs on my knee. I didn't have to tell you that,
Right.
right? Um, and I want to get back to that because as we're looking at this, there are solutions that have shown up and things you've done to help people. You probably have more stories about what you've seen. And I would like to ask you about them because I think we're in a new age now where stories are the way that we help people learn and change.
Mm.
I really do. I mean, when somebody labeled us last year the Disney of podcasting, I wasn't sure if that was like a compliment or, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It was like, am I like Minnie Mouse? What am I like? What? I didn't get it. But then I understood it. Isn't this the vibration of sharing stories? Isn't that
Mhm.
part of All in Healing?
It is. And I think that's why I tend to talk a lot, even in my private sessions. I'm always sharing stories.
All right, all right, I want you to share a story now, because I think that what we're saying here and what you demonstrated here in this show is a story in itself.
Mm.
But without sharing private information, who are the people that have walked through your door for help?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
All ages, all kinds, even the skeptical. Okay. Even the skeptical. So I have a few stories that, of course, that can kind of share some of that. One of them is a medical doctor. Okay. Medical doctor in mainstream medicine
Yeah.
with severe acid reflux that he dealt with since university,
Oh,
medical school.
yeah.
So 15 years, and where it's so severe was because it's gone, was so severe that he had to have an endoscopy every 6 months because they had to really monitor him
What?
closely, and he was on medications, of course, all of that. And I worked with him. Probably this was actually when I was just getting started working with clients in the world as well. So I was like, I almost didn't even know what to expect. What all can this modality do? I didn't even know, right? I just say, bring it, tell me what it is. Let's see what we can do with it, right?
Okay, so it wasn't like what happened with me when I dialed the wrong phone number, where you're like, well, wait a minute, is this the biggest cosmic joke in the world? That the first one of the first clients, it's like when I did the first crust busting workshop, right? And totally spiritual, and I'm not a reverend or any of that, and all of the reverends, all of the ministers from the Center for Spiritual Living showed up. I was like, for
Hmm,
real? But what was that
I
like for
love
you?
that.
You stood
It
in
was
your power.
Yeah, it was really amazing. What's super interesting about this too is this works remotely, you guys. So I've had people tell me they're in their bathtub. I've had people tell me, I mean, they're calling me from their bed, their couch, they're just, pajamas, cup of coffee, whatever's going, they're just relaxing. I have clients and now practitioners of this modality all over the world. So thank you for Facebook for those types of things, social media, they connect us, for Zoom, for having a platform. I love Zoom. To be
I
able
love
to do
Zoom
this kind of work.
too.
Yeah, Zoom's amazing. But yeah, I was just like, okay. But here's one of the interesting things about
Yeah,
that story.
yeah.
This medical doctor, I was actually working with his wife, who wanted me to do my work, the allergy healing work that I do on her and her 2 children and her husband. And I just said, well, just, and he's busy and he doesn't know. He's skeptical. He's just like, yeah, whatever, go ahead, you do whatever you want. And I said, well, make sure I have his permission if I'm going to be working with his energy, right? So we always want permission. And he was like, of course, that's great. But he's like, didn't expect anything, right? Because he's a medical doctor, and he's obviously open enough to say, give it a whirl, right? But so I never spoke to him one time myself. We didn't have a personal private session. I just started working remotely on that acid reflux issue. And all that went into that. I think this was about 4 years ago now. So I'm kind of
Wow.
reaching back, or
Yeah.
maybe 3 to 4 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm reaching back a little bit, but
That's okay.
yeah, so it's just such a cool story. But he is acid reflux free, long story short. And it hasn't returned. He's off he doesn't even need the medication. He's felt better than he's felt in 20 years or
Mm-hmm.
more. And so that was a really cool story, and talk about exactly what I needed, right, to really propel me into, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because literally this was one of my first family clients that I was working with, beyond my friends and my own
Wow.
family. So
Wow.
that was amazing. We got to work with behavior disorders with her son by clearing allergies. We got to clear up the diaper rash her daughter had so bad that nothing was touching it or helping it. Gone, just gone.
Wow.
We got to work with her some of her issues that she had. She would have acne show up across her back, got that gone. I don't even remember what all else for her, but there was some
Wow.
other things. So I've had a 12-year-old girl, a mother, come with her 12-year-old daughter to me, again, just remotely. I never worked with the daughter, one-to-one. I would just work with the mother. She had alopecia. She had a severe case
Yeah.
that was activated by a strep infection. This
Wow.
poor 12-year-old girl, a big circle of no hair
Right.
on the back of her crown. Kids tend to be mean, in school. School's a tough ground, right?
It is a tough ground.
Yeah, but we worked that, had to clear the allergies to the strep, again, which I didn't know, and the mother hadn't told
Oh,
me. But her priority allergy that came up was Streptococcus bacterias. So, and then she told me, after I told her what was coming up, she's like, "Oh, well, that's what she had." And then this whole thing happened, I'm like, okay. So, and I had to clear a bunch of different things. Again, when you have something major happen like that, it's not just one allergy. Like for you, it's not just that
of
treatment
course.
that,
Of
right?
course it's not.
Yeah. So, right. But her hair, grew right back in. She's got a nice full head of hair. She's feeling good, you
Wow.
know. So, did I know I could help people with alopecia? No, I had no,
No.
no idea, but I
Well,
do now, right? So when people call me or people leave me messages or people inquire, I just say, about, can you do this? Does it do that? Does it? And I'm just like, show up. Let's see what happens,
yeah. Well, this is the thing I want to talk about when we come back from break. And
Okay.
for those of you out there that want to, I know I didn't plan this for all of you, but if you want to connect with Kimberlie during the show, give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. But please go to Kimberlie's website, Kimberlie with a K, Carlson.com. Check it out. And what you're going to find, first of all, you're going to meet Kimberlie up close and personal, but you're going to read about who she is, right? What she does. And I like this because her unique approach, it doesn't just peel back the layers, right? It literally disintegrates the layer. See, that's
Absolutely.
different. You can peel back the layer of the onion, but that little piece on the onion is always left on the bottom part of the onion, right? We're not
Yeah.
talking that. We're going deeper and deeper and getting rid of the root cause. When we come back, probably going to talk to you about whatever Kimberlie is going to do to help me. But more importantly, we want you to understand the depth of what's happening with inflammation and autoimmune disease and why Kimberlie said yes to her life calling, but also to doing this show. When we come back, energetic allergy healing. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. I am so thrilled to be doing this show today. I'm Dr. Pat, and I am here with Kimberlie Carlson. But you should remember this, all in healing. That's Kimberlie's show. It's about health, it's about harmony, and it's about happiness. Today, we're talking about the hidden truth about your allergies. These are the things that you need to know for yourself, for your children, for your loved ones. But these are the things that you should know. Kimberlie, would you please, what's the best website, social media, anything you want to share? Tell people what you've got going on, please.
Okay. Well, mainly, right now it's my website. I do have a Facebook group that I started just not too long ago, but that is there as well. But my website it is my first name, Kimberlie. It's Kimberlie Carlson. However, Kimberlie is spelled with an IE, so that can kind
Oh,
of
that's right.
hang people up, a little bit. But yeah, so it's instead of a Y, my mother decided it was going to be an IE. So there you have it. So KimberlieCarlson.com. And yeah, you can definitely see more about who I am, kind of how I arrived at this space and place and time and what I'm doing, and some of the different programs that I do offer there. So I have a lot of different ways that you can receive this type of work, this type of healing. So,
Yeah. And what we're talking about is, in person, remote. This is really the world we're stepping into. And
mhm,
that's why what we're talking about here is energetic allergy healing now, to really give people a sense of what you've discovered. I mean, right out of the gate, you picked up something in me, right? That
mhm,
was going on. And you and I didn't plan to talk about it, but that's why I love the universe, because the
right.
universe says, wow, if you're going to introduce a healer to the world, then let's talk about what they do through demonstration. And,
Awesome.
and isn't that the coolest thing?
I love it. Absolutely.
um, how has or how do you talk about energetic allergy healing, right? And is that in fact what you picked up on me? Is that the right
Mm.
language?
Yeah, absolutely. The type of pain that you're experiencing, the type of inflammatory pattern that you have going on, um, I would definitely um, do an allergy healing, period. That's going to be the most effective way to clear that pain
Mm,
and to work as a preventative measure moving forward as well.
mhm.
So, because it's not about just right now. Like to me, this is the most preventative medicine out there, right? So, when you clear your allergies to all parts of your body so that they can actually work better for you, when you clear allergies to the nutrients that your body needs to create a healthy cell, you are being incredibly preventative, right? Because when you are allergic to, when you're in resistance to a vitamin, to a mineral, to even salt, sugar, fats, proteins, these are all extremely common, extremely common. And when you're allergic to them, your body is going to use or absorb little to none of it. Okay. So that's why those that are on a quest say to get their vitamin D levels up. That's a
Yeah,
really common one. Everybody wants those really healthy looking vitamin D levels, right?
right.
Well, my naturopath informed me that I've got the best levels she's ever seen. Okay, so that's because of the work I do. So when you are allergic to it, you can take it, you can take what you need to correct those deficiencies. And some people still can't even get to those healthier levels. It's because they're not absorbing it properly. So once we clear it as an allergy, you clear that resistance, you bring back harmony between you and that energy of that D vitamin, you're in business. And
Yeah,
then your body gets to actually start to use and absorb it. This is why endocrine health changes. This is why your immune system changes. It's not just change, it's actually brand new. You're being made brand new. So your organs, your soft tissues, your glands, your digestive tract, it's all brand new about every 3 months or so, right?
mm,
Little variation there. But um, when you are no longer allergic to the nutrients your body needs to create a healthy cell,
yeah,
every 3 months you've got brand new cells. You've literally got brand new tissue, brand new organs, brand new glands, and every 3 months or so, you're going to have another health jump or another health improvement because your system is being literally rebuilt anew, stronger every time. It's pretty incredible. So
yeah,
preventative medicine to me, this is it,
yeah,
right? So
yeah. But what you're talking about too is that and let's just kind of recap for folks, because when I think about All in Healing and what the
mhm,
show's about and what you're bringing forward on a regular basis in this, what we're really talking about is what many people knew about thousands and thousands of years ago, and then thanks to Dr. Oz, he made a bold statement about energy medicine being the next frontier. But
mhm.
for people like you, for me, for what I've learned, and for so many others, that frontier is now. And I think, and I want to ask you this, sometimes out of our own desperation, we have to discover something, maybe
Absolutely.
sooner than the world would discover it, so to speak. Isn't
Right.
that true of energetic allergy healing as well?
Absolutely. And it wasn't just my own suffering that
Yeah.
the universe was responding to, my pleas, right? But once I had my own children and I began to watch them have pathogen issues just like mother, right? That's kind of been the
Yeah.
my sort of Achilles heel, so to speak. Bacterial patterns, viral patterns, Epstein-Barr virus, all these different types of pathogen yeast issues turned into like crazy systemic yeast issues. Diet doesn't really, it can, I found bits and pieces to help myself along the way. The probiotics, good supplements to support your body. But I still had the issues, right? They were
Yeah.
still there, maybe
Yeah.
reduced a bit, but still there.
Yeah.
The brain fog, the swollen glands in the throat, all the different things that come with those viruses and those pathogens that we can store in any tissue of our body. Like I've literally had to, in order to heal some back pain that a client came to me with, for instance, one of her priorities was a virus. Who knew? She was storing it in the tissues there that was
Wow.
creating inflammation, and that the muscle, the spine, this nervous system, whatever, right there in her back. We clear that up and she's pain free within, I don't know, 12ish hours or so, 10 hours. So
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. I'm always fascinated by how it works for you, meaning that you've developed a way to pinpoint, right? I mean,
yeah,
you did it today with me in the show before I
yeah,
even mentioned it. But you've been doing this now for some time where you've really fine tuned and perfected it.
yeah.
What have you found is the most, or shall I say, the greatest barriers for people to
Mm.
heal? What have you seen show up where it's like, okay, healing is not going to happen right here because of dot dot dot.
Mm. Well, I have thought a lot about this subject. There's a
Yeah,
lot, that's a big subject
yeah,
actually. And I've asked questions. So one of my favorite things to do and to recommend to all people who are on a spiritual path, right? That's going to be pretty much everybody who's here, I'm sure. So ask questions.
yeah,
You really do receive an answer. Yeah, like
yeah,
you do receive it. That's how everything has come through. And you're right, what you mentioned earlier, kind of the more you get to that spot where you are just done and you just that almost that desperation and you're like, that's it. One of the things that we're doing at that point is almost that humility piece, that kind of going down on the knees and just going, okay, universe, God, what
yeah.
powers it be, I need an answer. I need something to change, and what we're doing, we're asking, what can I do? How can I resolve this? We will always be answered. So,
But that's really kind of the interesting thing about this too, is besides the body being such a miraculous thing, right? Our ability to hone in
yeah.
on what's ailing someone, that's what you're talking about doing. That's what you're talking
Yes.
about has happened. Let's take a
Yes.
short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the physical, because we live in this physical world, right?
Mm.
Well, what is it about the physical and the energetics that bring us to a new place of discovery, a long-term discovery? What is it about that could literally crack this nut open? Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with All in Healing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, everybody. Want you to get a hold of Kimberlie Carlson, and it's Kimberlie Carlson.com. Go to the website, check it out. Also, I want to make sure that when you go to the website, there are a lot of things that you'll find here. Some of the things we're talking about today, some of them we're not. You can schedule a free call. There's a way to do that. The other thing too is you can also follow Kimberlie on social media and check into upcoming events and so forth. Um, did I leave anything out, Kim?
I don't think so.
Oh, cool. Um,
Sounds good to me.
yeah, I remember the first time I met Kimberlie, and I was like, okay. So the first thing I saw was your skin art, and I said, I tried to get this tattoo when I moved to Seattle. Remember I told you about that?
Yep, I remember.
And they did a test on me. And the next thing I know, my entire arm looked like I had like some kind of measles or something, right?
Yeah.
And well, never was able to get the tattoo. I'm not sure that I could or couldn't now. But in the end, we are really finding with people that there are things that you may not believe you might be allergic to or might have an allergy with. But we live in a world now where there are more and more and more showing up. And I wanted to ask you about this because you work with
Yeah.
people on the physical, right? As
Yes.
well as the energetic. Tell us about that.
Yes. And you're kind of bringing me back to a question you asked earlier again,
Yeah.
too.
So, well, there's more and more light workers, empaths, intuitives, healers, all showing up on this planet. A lot of our children are
playing a role of some, a very spiritual role, has to do with the time that we're living in on this planet. So what I've really noticed in this work, you asked me earlier, who shows up? Who do you work on? The age groups are vast, right? 80 something that doesn't, down to newborns, pregnant women, all of it, right? However, what they have in common is that they are sensitive. They fit into this category of whether some of them are not aware of it. Most of them are, about their empathic abilities, their nature, or empathic nature. There's their strong psychic abilities or intuition. They're serving as a healer in some capacity already, or serving in some capacity, working with the light here on this planet. So that means we are sensitive people. Like we are a sensitive group of people.
Right.
So what that translates into is that we're sensitive to not just everything in our environment, but we're sensitive to our own emotions. We're sensitive to the emotions of others, the thoughts, those feelings, everything we're picking up on in our world, and we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed by it. And guess what really creates those allergies? It's emotional overwhelm that we do not have the ability to process. Okay. So, of course there's trauma. Yes, that's kind of what trauma is, right? That overwhelm, whether it's emotional, it can be physical, it can be mental. Usually it's hitting all those spots, when it's a big event that's creating trauma that we're holding.
Yeah.
So it's the sensitive ones. And you also asked me earlier as well about who heal, like that healing process and how that varies. And again, I haven't been able to put a total finger on that. We're all such unique expressions. We are all on such our own unique path. And that path includes whatever their soul has deemed it includes, right? So, so for what I have noticed is people who are in patterns of disease, who are struggling with autoimmune, who have been locked into suffering and pain, inflammation, disease in the body, chronic for a long time, like long standing, their immune systems are shot, right? They're just shot. The adrenals are shot. The endocrine system's not functioning right. The nervous system's fried. The digestive isn't working the way it's supposed to. And that creates a whole downstream of flood of issues. So, those people tend to need a little more, right? They tend to need a little more attention, a little more time, a little more investment in their own healing, and also a little more patience. So I've had the experience of clearing grains, for instance, gluten, right? Dairy, all that stuff for a woman who's 75 years old. I'd never worked on her before. Her goal was to be able to eat cookies at a convention she was attending in 4 days. Chocolate chip cookies. And she hadn't eaten wheat. She hadn't eaten dairy in 10 years. She couldn't touch anything.
Wow.
And that's what she missed the most.
That's a lofty goal.
Right?
Yeah.
we had her there. She was eating that cookie, and then she started writing me, I just had an English muffin with real butter, and it
Oh
was
my God.
delicious, right? And she used to get GI pain, I'm sorry, joint pain.
Yeah.
And then she would also have GI problems,
From
digestive,
gluten. From
gluten.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we cleaned all that up, and she's been that was probably about 5 years ago now as well. So, and she's still doing amazing. So, and then you have people that'll come through and they'll have the healing to the grains and the dairy and the stuff, but they need more. They've got leaky gut. They've got some more repair that needs to happen in the body. Some people are a little slower at responding. Some people need those 3-month increments where everything's rebuilding stronger and better than before. Some people have to have the whole array of allergy healing that I bring to my programs that are on my website.
Yep.
Not just, hey, let's clear that grains and dairy that they know bothers them, right? That they know they can't touch or it creates a problem in their body. We got to look at the other stuff. We got to clear the parts of the body. We have to work with the emotions. We have to clear other things that are creating digestive issues.
Yeah. And I think that's where we started the show from.
Yeah.
Wow, the hour has gone so fast. We started the show talking about the layers, right? We started the show talking about the fact that when you work with someone, when we're talking about all in healing, we're taking a look at the entire range of possibilities so that when all in healing is activated, we're not really leaving any residual so that people can live that life. Kimberlie, thank you so much for today. People are going to hear lots more from you. Thank you for today. I do have a last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us all with today? And thank you so much for all that you do.
Well, I didn't know that one was coming, but on the fly, I would have to say, remember who you are. Remember your power, okay? Because we are powerful beyond measure. We are creators. We are divine beings, and we are incredibly powerful. We've just forgotten, okay? So we need to remember. And the more we heal, the more we give ourselves that first and heal, the more we expand into the truth of all that we are. We are powerful. You are powerful. So,
wow. Thank you. Kimberlie Carlson. Go to the website, KimberlieCarlson.com. Please remember this. Please remember all in healing with Kimberlie. Kimberlie, thank you so much.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Such an honor.
Show. And Kimberlie's going to be back. Benny, thank you for pushing all the right buttons. I want to thank Zach for doing the same. And I want to thank all of you out there. Remember, you have got to flip the switch to be all in. Let's do it together for 2020. All right, everybody. Yeah. See you next time.
Thank you for listening. You have been peeling back the layers and stepping into ease, abundance, and wholeness with All In Healing, Health, Happiness, and Harmony on TransformationTalkRadio.com with me, Kimberlie Carlson. And I will be back with more life-changing healings and insights. Join us next time as All In Healing sets the world free from pain, struggle, and disease, one listener at a time. And remember, your journey is unique, but the path to true joy and freedom is the same for every one of us. Heal with us, layer by loving layer, as we move together toward health, happiness, and harmony. To learn more about me and All In Healing, please visit KimberlieCarlson.com. See you next time.